In a world clouded by noise,
Truth is waiting in the quiet
it whispers.
until someone dares to listen.
She is the oracle, Tammy De Mirza, a world-renowned intuitive.
A messenger of what's hidden
She sees what others cannot.
and speaks the truths you have been seeking. And he is the master, Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, strategist,
A guide who leads with discipline
turning wisdom.
into action. Together,
We awaken what's been buried
we ignite the hunger for truth,
and we challenge illusions.
guiding you to your next level of power. Two powerful souls unite to awaken what's been buried.
To break what's been bound and to speak what others want. The oracle,
And the master,
it's time.
Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning. And good morning to anyone that is seeing us live or are listening later. Good morning, afternoon, and evening.
Yes, absolutely. So let's consider what the topic is today, right? Climb to new heights. And I think the reason that we can climb to new heights, and some other people may look at you or me or anybody else who's doing something and go, man, I wish I had what they had. I wish I can do what they can do. The problem, and I said this earlier to you, is that they're closed. So, in order for you to climb new heights, I think we need to be open to opportunities. And you also said we sometimes also must manifest those opportunities.
That's not sometimes, that's all the time.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great, and you said it's a great starting point because in order to climb new heights, you have to be not only open, but things are going to happen along the way as well.
One of the things that I think about, Sifu, because you know that I date, and one of the things that I see is that it's like we're given a window or a crack in the door. And this great person for me in dating, and he says, "You are amazing," but he doesn't open the door. And what I see is them talking about, thinking about, I would like to meet you, but they don't ever set it up. And one guy not too long ago, I said, you know, as good as the connection is, this is only open for a short while. And if you don't step in, I know how this works. It eases out. And then you forget that it even happened. And that is true for anything that is divinely inspired or an opportunity or, and let me tell you about one. I was at an event last May, and this multi-billionaire was talking to me for 3 days. And he finally kept saying, "You're coming to Greece." And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not coming to Athens. I'm not." And so on the third day, he finally said, "Do you not notice that I'm not really talking to other people here? I'm only talking to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I have noticed. What is it?" He said, "You are pure. You are pure." And he said, "You're coming to Athens." And I said, "No, I'm not." And then I thought about this, what we're talking about today. And I said, "Well, okay, do you realize that you said this 8 times in 3 days?" Because I'm a subconscious Rain Man counter. I subconsciously count things. And I'm about numbers. And I said, "You said this 8 times." And he said, "Well, I'm determined." And I said, "Okay, if you and your girlfriend will spend time with me for a meal for a few hours, I will start to think about it." He said, "Yes." And then he looked down to the right. He looked back up at me and said, "No, you're staying at my guest house." I said, "I'm going to Athens." But this is the point. Why do we think and think and think and think that really does nothing for us. We will think our way out of the opportunity.
Right.
So for me, as a conscious manifester who teaches manifestation, I don't care how the money comes or whether or not I have it when I commit. What I commit to is what I know is an opportunity, and I either step in and push fear away and go, none of my business how the universe pays for this. I am in alignment.
Yeah.
I think that's where people get caught, stuck, deciding not to because they're thinking about it so much instead of feeling the resonance.
Mm.
When he said, "You're staying in my guest house," my immediate thought was, this is supernatural. This is not normal. This is the universe telling you you're being given something that you have to answer formally to.
Mm.
And then I thought, well, at least my stay is paid for.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. And I had days, and it was last October.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people hear this. And they do nothing about it.
Well, then
That's
they
the
stay where
door.
they are.
That's somebody knocking on the door and they don't open the door. They think they heard something and they don't bother with it. And so many times it's because of fear. We don't know what's on the other side of the door. I've been to people's homes. I knock on the door. Nothing. I knock on the window. Nothing. I go to the back of, if they have an extra door in the back of the side of the house, I knock there.
Wow.
And because I told them I was coming, yet
Oh.
they forgot I was coming.
Mm,
And if none of the knocking works, I call.
yeah.
Now, what happens if they don't answer any of my calls? I'm gone.
Yeah, of course.
But I do make an effort. And who is making an effort for you? That's the question I want to leave to everybody. Put it in the comments. Has anybody made an effort for you, or have you made an effort for someone else and they didn't answer? And then that's when we need to move on because somebody else is going to open the door.
It's kind of wild. I think that the universe is presenting opportunities to us all the time. Will you take this? Will you do this? The way that I describe it to my clients, and especially when I'm teaching manifestation comments, we have a thought of something that we want. And then there's a but I don't have the money for it. See, I don't even do that. I say yes, I raise my hand, I formally answer, and then I go, I don't know how you're going to pay for it. That's none of my business. But I do know that I'm being offered this and I can say yes or no. And the way that the universe works to me is you have a thought and the universe comes up like the genie's lamp and it says, your wish is my command. And then it starts. But then when we start thinking, but I don't have the money, I need to raise the money. I have a client right now that was actually, good morning, Gabby. I have a client that was just healed of stage 4 breast cancer
Mm.
in 3 days with me. She was weeks away from leaving this reality, and she knows that she needs to work with me to continue development and growth because she got herself in that position and it was healed supernaturally. We have the tests to prove it. It's all gone. It's even out of her lymphatic system. And what is so wild is she told me a couple of days ago, I said, I texted her and I said, are you being harassed like I am to get in touch with you every single day? Are you being harassed to get in touch with me? She said, yes. I said, then why am I the one having to reach out?
Mm.
And she said, well, I've got it down on a certain day, but I may have a hard time manifesting the money to work with you. And I said, well, then you will have a problem manifesting the money.
That's it.
Money is the problem. Our mind is.
Yeah, doubt. Doubt seeps into so many people. When you consider, think about what we don't know. And when doubt creeps in, oof, that makes it really doesn't allow any manifestation to work because we have doubt. What if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? What if I can't get the money? What if I don't if I don't catch the plane? And what if I don't do this? What if I don't do that? And doubt is probably one of the biggest things that stands in people's way.
Tell me what doubt looks like.
Ugly.
So that's your description. Ugly. Keep going.
It's ugly. It's draped in fear, right? It's cloaked in fear. It is about not feeling worthy. It is about not understanding your brilliance or allowing you to say, I'm worth this. So it's ugly. That's my take on doubt. It's ugly because your opportunity for greatness will not come if you allow doubt to settle in.
Well, I'm going to take it a step deeper and make it even uglier, if that's okay with
Ooh,
you.
let's do it.
Self-abuse.
Mm,
Doubting yourself is self-abuse. When you are questioning yourself, that is self-abuse.
mm,
You're going to have to think about that one very, very deeply. Thank you so much for your comments.
yeah,
Good. She responds or he responds to opportunities.
yeah.
It's not just specifically entrepreneurship either. It is everything in life. What you're doing in one form, you are doing in every single form in your life. And that is one of the things that I do with my clients is help them to see. I was on the phone with a client in Alaska yesterday, and I was helping her to see how this one thing about her not feeling safe is manifesting in 50 different ways in every form in her life. But the
Mm,
root is, I don't feel safe. And she's always been safe. But when we perceive, when we believe, so getting back to the subject that we're talking about today, what is keeping you, and I would love for you to comment underneath right now, what is keeping you from moving forward? What do you think it is? Is it a thing? Is it a person? I'm just going to tell you that, thank you, Gabby. You are so right. Doubting yourself is self-abuse. When you're questioning yourself, two of the most painful things that I know that humans do to themselves is doubt themselves
mm,
and live in shame, blame, and fear. That is according to, I forget what his name is, Dr. I forget what his name, but he has a consciousness scale. Hawkins, I think is the name. David Hawkins, maybe. And that is the bottom of the consciousness level. It is the dirtiest of it. It's in the mud. It's in what I call your hell. You go down the cave into your hell, you start thinking these thoughts, and then you keep descending and descending and descending until there's no light. And then you're wondering, why does this hurt so bad? Well, because you started down that path and you didn't turn around. So when we are not climbing, when we are not taking opportunities, the universe is presenting opportunities all the time. Let me tell you a wild one. I have a client that actually moved here because of me being her mentor. And oddly enough, Sifu, and this is a wild story, but the very first time I did a session for her, I said, I've never told anybody this ever, and I don't know why I'm telling you, but this is the information that I'm getting. If you lived in the same city as me, we would be friends. She moved here 2 years ago, August, around this time. And she was one morning in a session with me, and she said, I saw this. It's like I saw this being, and I don't understand. And I just froze. And I said, really? She said, yeah. I said, why did you freeze? Because in the shower 30 minutes earlier, you were asking to see your gods. And she went, oh my God, I did. If I wasn't intuitive, if I couldn't read that, I can't help people to connect with. Your thoughts matter, and your thoughts are listened to, and your thoughts are given to you. Your thoughts expand the moment that you start focusing on something. It expands no matter what it is. If it's good, it expands. If it's bad thoughts you're having, those expand. And when she realized, I said, why are you freaked out? And why are you surprised? You asked for it in the shower. I'm seeing you in the shower. I'm not paying attention to the naked body, but I am seeing your spirit and you petitioning God, source, universe. I want to see my gods. Well, she saw two of them. And she said, it freaked me out. And I went, why? You asked for it. So what we don't realize is that these opportunities are presented to you because you've asked. I can tell you this year, I've been to Japan, Bali, Florence, and I'm going to Nepal, and I'm taking a group of people to Egypt in October. Every single one of them, I simply said, I want to go to Bali this year. I want to go to Japan. And I want to go when those trees are blooming. And every single thing, the universe said, hey, she placed her order. Now, if she doesn't change her mind,
Right.
if she doesn't think other thoughts, if she starts worrying about money, if she starts thinking, well, how would I go? No, I did it. And now Nepal, and I'm staying in a monastery. And then next year I'll take people to the Himalayas, to Nepal.
Yeah.
So I want you to know that you are the heartbeat of what the universe brings to you as opportunities. But if you don't say yes, you're going to stay where you are. You're going to stay where you are.
You are. When you consider the power of your thoughts, and you mentioned that, right? Whether you're positive or negative in your thoughts, your body, not only just the world, but your body listens. Your emotions, the way you act, the way you move your body, it listens. And so if you keep doubt, you don't do things physically that you can do when you're happy, when you're in control of your emotions, when you don't have the fear. You can do so much more. Yet people don't, because it's what's going on in here that takes care of everything else. And we forget the smallest, tiniest little details. And one of those details is not small at all. It's huge. It's called self-love. And when we allow doubt to come in, we're turning off the knob on self-love. We're diminishing it because that knob is getting turned down on self-love and doubt is rising up. Hatred comes in, which is a word that I hate. Isn't that funny that I hate the word hate? I should say I dislike the word hate. And because the word itself, yes, it's a 4-letter word. And when you consider when you can hate another person, that's a reflection of how you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
So if you love more than anything else, then you find love for you. And I always say you need to love yourself first. I cannot love you if I don't like me, because then it'll be false. It won't be real. In, infatuation is not love. Love is pure. But a lot of people think that, especially like teenagers, right? I'm in love. No, you're infatuated with somebody. Love comes deeper than the surface level. Love comes when you can sit with a person and not even have a conversation. Love comes when you do something for somebody without them asking. Love is so deep and it's so powerful that so many people don't love the way they should or the way they could because they allow everything else to settle in.
So bring love around for me in the subject that we're doing today.
When you want to climb to new heights, it's going to be very difficult to climb if you don't believe in yourself. So love comes to you first. You have to believe in your abilities. You have to believe in your thinking. You have to believe and love the way you wake up in the morning, how you conduct yourself. Literally, the most important person you need to love is yourself so that you can do these things. Because when you do them because it's robotic, there's no passion. So love and passion, they're very close together. And in order for you to climb something worthwhile, something that you can leave behind, leave a legacy. When I say leave behind, that's what I meant, legacy. So others can see what you've done. There has to be love behind it. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who have left things behind, and their legacy is that they were cruel, that they were mean. Who wants to leave that? I don't want to be remembered for me being cruel or mean. I want to be remembered because I made you feel the love that I have in my body, in my soul. I want to take love everywhere I go. I love you,
Well,
Tammy.
I love you too, Sifu. We have from the moment that we met each other. There was a special connection.
Mm-hmm.
Even though what we do is different, it's aligned and it's the same in some ways. But what I was thinking about is that to love something, yes, I am a member of CLA. Gabby, thanks for asking. And that is actually how we met. I have not attended many of the meetings because I'm traveling so much
Mm-hmm.
and I'm busy and I'm speaking and I'm doing all kinds of things. One of the things that I would say is that when I thought about wanting to go see Japan and see those trees, I loved that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to that love. Thank you for making a comment about this being practical approach to regaining focus towards positive thinking versus self-doubt, self-love. Oh, that's a really, really good one. Do you want to do that one?
Let's
Or do you
do it.
want me to do it? Okay, go ahead. You
No,
contribute.
no, I mean,
I will contribute. Okay.
you start. I'll follow.
Okay. So what I was talking about is loving something. So for me, and I'm going to break this down like I do for my clients, there's love and there's fear. Love is easy. It is light. It is fast moving. It is graduating. It is not experiencing the same thing all the time. It is fast moving. It's clear. It's simple. It's easy to comprehend and understand. It is very simple. I mention that again because love is not complicated. Fear is complicated. It's
Mm,
dis-ease, disharmony, ill at ease, questioning, wondering, contemplating, thinking, what I call on the chalkboard, writing on the chalkboard, trying to come up with the answer by yourself, as if you're not a part of the whole universe that has all the answers.
mm,
Every single one of the answers. So complicated, confusion, never making a decision, never really moving forward, running on a hamster wheel, doing the same thing, having the same patterns over and over and over again, not knowing why. Facing issues with money, patterns, repeat, patterns, repeat. That is fear. There's no answers there. There's never, ever, ever an answer in fear. In love, there's clarity and there are answers and there's movement. When it's in fear, there is no movement. There's only spinning. You're going around and around and around and around and around. And love is truth and fear is fake or false. It's thoughts. It's only a perception. So I had a client, and every single time a group of us got together, I would have weekend retreats here in my home. And every single time we got together, she would say, my dad would not give me 5 cents for milk to go to school.
mm.
And one day I looked at her and I said, are you living there right now? Are you living with your dad? I happen to know what your house looks like. I happen to know you have a bigger house than I do. I happen to know that your life is much easier. Why are you going backwards into your dad would not give you 5 cents for milk to go to school? And you can tell that her age, because it was only 5 cents then. She had been carrying that story until I said, is that what is defining you? You prove to me that nobody will give you 5 cents anymore and you're not even working. You prove it. Did you know she's never said that again? So these repetitive thoughts, we have 60 to 80 to 90,000 thoughts a day. A day. Did you know that 85% of those are negative?
Mm.
90% of those negative thoughts are regurgitating, repeating it every single day. 90 to 95% of your negative thoughts are a repetition. So let me tell you what happened to me one day. It's really funny. Rumination. And one day I said, give me a good example, Spirit, God, give me a good example of trying to chew the cud, which is ruminating, trying to chew the cud. And I heard a corn husk. A human cannot digest a corn husk. Guess what I did, Sifu? I went to the grocery store. I'm like, oh, yeah, because I don't know that that is true. I think I can bite through a corn husk. Went and got fresh corn
Oh,
and took the husk and was trying. What Spirit was teaching me was you can't even digest the rumination of your negative thought. It's like trying to chew on the cud, which is like a corn husk. So I literally tried to bite it. I could not bite through it. And as you see, I've got good teeth. They're my teeth. I tried 2 or 3 times because I'm hard-headed, and I'm like, "But I asked for this. I asked Spirit for this. Give me something to show me what we do when we're ruminating, when we're chewing the cud." And when I was told the corn husk and I started trying to eat it, I just started dying laughing, and I went, "Well, I guess I'm having corn for lunch," because I have to take the husk off and get to the goodness, which is the corn, where there's nourishment, where there's food. That's love, fear. And every single thing that we have, there's love and fear. And Henry Ford said, "If you believe that you can or you can't, you are right." And look at what he did. And look at what he did even with our president. I forget which president was actually crippled. But when the president got so crippled that he was in a wheelchair, did you know Henry Ford bought a house right beside the president and got himself a wheelchair so that they could walk together?
Oh, well.
He believed he could. But what we're doing is we have these thoughts that keep going around and around. And the way that you change it is start to feel, wait a minute, am I going anywhere or am I repeating? Or am I moving fast? And it's simple. Here is confusion. Fear is confusion. Love is answers. It's clear. Which one do you think? Sometimes I have to tell people. One time I told a client, "You know, I've been working with you for a year in mentoring." And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, now you have nobody else to blame because we've gotten over you blaming every single person. So who is left for you to blame for your life?" And she did like you. She started laughing. She said, "I have spent a year blaming people." I said, "Yes, you have. And I have discredited every single thing. I want you to know that whatever story you have going on, like my dad will not give me 5 cents for milk to go to school. And here she is, lived in the biggest house of any of us that were there. And people were feeling sorry for her in the group and were buying her meals
Oh my gosh.
and her massages when she had more than they did." Well, there was one that had a bigger house because I was in her house. But how interesting that what we think,
Mm.
what we believe, if you will just gauge, is this fear? Does this feel uncomfortable? Does this feel confusing? Am I really getting past it, or do I keep experiencing? Or does this feel really good and ease? When I thought of Japan, I felt love energy. When I thought of going to Nepal, I felt love energy. When I think of Florence, I feel love energy. And I found this coin is a Medici literal family coin that I found in Florence. I had told Spirit 2 years ago, help me find my coin. I love coins around the neck. You don't see many people wearing them. I looked for 2 years.
Mm.
And it was raining, and the basilica, the Santa Croce Basilica, where Leonardo and Da Vinci, not Leonardo, Michelangelo and Galileo are buried. I always go back there in the very back and I just communicate with them, and they're entombed in there. Um, whenever, whenever I'm there, a supernatural experience happens every single time. And I got rained out and they closed it early.
Mm.
And I'm looking at the guy and I said, I just need a picture. Can you give me 5 minutes? He said, we are closed. And I said, please tell me what I can do. He said, can you wait around for a little bit? And I said, how long? He said, an hour. We're having mass. I got to go back in
Mm.
and experience mass. Didn't understand a single word because it was all Italian, Latin. But I went into this grocery store and I found this coin and I went, there it is. Tell me the significance of this. And the fleur de lis on the front and John the Baptist is on the back for protection and traveling. And I said, where did this coin come from? He said, the Medici family. And I said, it's mine. And I bought one for a client too. What I want you to see, I'm telling these stories so that you will feel the energy of ease, movement, flow. I knew I was getting in that basilica. I knew I
Mm.
was, even though they closed. So I'm just looking at him and going, what can I do? You can come to Mass. And guess what? He told me I couldn't go in the back, but because there was a soccer team that was filing in with drums when we finished the Mass, I thought, okay, it's like the French. They're out there protesting over something because there were big drums, but it wasn't. It was the soccer field, the blue one. There were 4 districts in Florence, Italy, and they were coming in to get blessed by the priest. I got to go in the back, and I have a video of it.
Mm. That's really
And
cool.
costumes. So what I'm saying is, even as I'm talking, if you feel the resonance of ease, that is love energy. Fear energy is complicated and heavy and confusing and doesn't present answers. So, what is your answer to this precious person's question?
So I think one of the things that they want to know is how do we approach regaining focus on positive thinking? And let me grab up the question again. Here it is, right? So if you think about that versus self-doubt and self-love, it starts with knowing who you are. I think to regain anything positive, we actually literally have to look in the mirror. And what happens when a lot of people look in the mirror, they're looking at a dirty mirror. You got to clean that mirror because all the words self doubt, I'm not worthy, I'm no good, all these things are going to pop up. And so you got to wipe all that down and you have to start to look at you deep. I mean, literally, like one of these things, look into the mirror and say, I love you. You're beautifully made. And then you may have to try some affirmations. You may start to read something like if you have an affirmation, you have it written down on a sticky note, and you go, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, I'm gifted. Even if you don't believe it, because when you say it, it starts, and the whole thing about saying it out loud is that you hear it again. You said it in your mind, and that's great. But when you verbalize it, it goes out and comes back. It goes out, comes back. Both ears, obviously. Hopefully you can hear from me. And the important thing is to say it enough that eventually it seeps in. But if we're constantly, like you said, 90%, 95%, we're saying negative things, or we're listening to negative messages, we need to combat those with positivity. One of the greatest things that my fiance does every day is she's laughing and laughing and laughing. Even last night before we went to sleep, she's laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you laughing? What's going on?" She goes, "Because of you." She goes, "You make me laugh so much." I said, "That's awesome." And I said, "Why are you laughing now?" "Because of what you just said, you know." So, but she's always looking at comedy. She's looking at things. And when we can laugh, we can release the tension, the negativity. And so laughter is another key ingredient to get out of the rut, get out of the muck, stop chewing on the wrong things, right? Eat the corn, don't eat the husk. But laughter is another thing that really impacts people. The other day, I was lecturing, and I know that somebody, and I said to them, "How are you doing?" And they said, "I am not doing." I'm having a really hard time. And so I said a couple of things, and they could not help but laugh. And they're like, "What are you trying to do to me, Sifu?" I said, "I'm showing you some love." And so when we start with us first, we start to get rid of the negativity. We start to find the focus of love, self-love. But even though you may look in the mirror, I know people who have had 75% of their body burned. There's a young lady who's a beautiful soul, and she's also in the CLA. She's recently in it. And she had 75% of her body burnt when she was 2 years old. And for the longest time, she loathed herself. She was made fun of as a kid. All these different things happened. And then eventually what she did was start to love herself. She's a professional public speaker. She's an author. She's all of these things because she gave up. You know what she gave up? Feeling sorry for herself, having doubt about how beautiful she is, and looking deeper. Because when I talked about love earlier, when you're with another person, it's not the physical aspects of the other person. It's the soul. It's deep. Love is deep. But if we're superficial, all we're looking is at the surface level. And a lot of people will fall in love with somebody because of the way they look. And then later on they get divorced. Why? Because that was a horrible person. They just look good. And they were selfish. And they didn't care about you. When we look deeper, there's something worthwhile. So when you want to regain self-respect, self-love, and get rid of doubt and negativity, it's not easy, especially if you've been living in those quarters for a long time. It starts with one action every day. Looking in the mirror and say, "You're beautiful. I love you." Here's the thing, right? You talked earlier about your client not getting 5 cents. I remember as a kid, the ice cream truck was coming, and everybody's running to their house to get money from their parents, and they're coming back out. I run to my house, and I see my dad, and I go, "The ice cream truck is coming." You can hear the ringing, the little bells and stuff. And I go, "Dad, can I get money for an ice cream?" My dad turns around and says to me, "The house needs to be cleaned. When you finish cleaning the house, I'll give you money." And I said, "Well, the ice cream truck will be gone by the time I finish." I said, "I'll clean the house after." He said, "No." I said, "Lesson learned." That's the day I never asked my dad for a penny.
Mm.
And I said to myself, I don't need other people to tell me I'm worth something. So I never asked my dad for a penny since that day.
Wow.
And I was maybe 9 years old.
Wow.
At the age of 10, I started working. And so I really never asked him for a penny. At the age of 10, I got the opportunity to clean a bingo hall and mop the bathrooms and clean the toilet bowls and mop the whole place. And it was because I was tall and they thought I was older. So
Oh,
I took it. And so I realized that I don't need someone else to tell me I'm worthy. I need this guy right here. And so I've never asked other people for something that I can get myself. And so a lot of times people will say things to me and I don't negate what they're saying if it's positive. I say, thank you. Bring it on. Let's go. I accept it. I accept love. Because when people genuinely say something to me that's positive, I'm not going to go, oh man, you don't really mean that. I'm going to go, thank you. Because that's part of self love. It's accepting love from others. And also, when it's false love, because they say something because they want something in return. So, how do we find love again if we've lost it? Don't look for it externally, it's within us.
I want to share that the basics of what she's asked is one you have to identify. Is it fear or is it love? That is number one. You got to feel it. How did that feel when somebody said that? How did that feel when I said it? I always have coaches, and I have a coach that the other day, she said, who is your firstborn child? And I said, his name is Tyler. She said, leave me right now and go into your mirror and look in the mirror and say to Tyler what you've been saying to yourself. I didn't last very long. And I came back and I said, I get it. I get it. So I want you to think about what you're thinking, what you're saying to yourself. And would you say that to somebody that you loved? So that's a really good pivotal point to, I'm going to change my mind. So I tell my clients, either forgive yourself. Oh, I forgive myself for that and I choose again. Or, that's funny, I just did it again. So I'm going to change my mind. So one of the things we have not talked about is the biggest catalyst is making a new decision or making a decision. And you kind of mentioned that in the email just a little bit. And I thought, to me, that's the biggest point. If you don't make a decision, you are making a decision. We are never standing still. We are making decisions all day long, so why not make a decision to do it? It's like what I was saying about the guy that wanted to meet me. He was so enthralled. I want to meet you. I want to spend a little bit of time with you. But then he started hesitating and backing. Nothing changed in our conversation, but he started disappearing. It started going away. He didn't make a decision, but that means he made a decision. You understand what I'm saying? And for me, it's namaste. I see you. I see you while you're making the decision, and I see you once the decision is done. I don't really care what other people's decisions are. I care what mine is and what I'm occupying my mind with. Does it feel good? Does it feel loving? Does it feel kind? Does it feel positive? Does it feel easy? Does it feel simple? That is love. Does it feel complicated? Does it feel angst? Am I losing sleep over it? Am I thinking about that too much? Does it feel dis-ease? That's where dis-ease comes from in the body. It shows up because there's dis-ease. So it's in the moment deciding, wait, that didn't feel good. So I'm going to change my mind. I didn't realize I was even thinking that. So it's quite stunning. Do you mind if I share a really wild story
Let's
about
hear it.
getting into the prison system? There's a book that I have out called The Inmate and the Medium. I'm not the inmate, I'm the medium. And so I talk about, I was really tired because in the prison system, you couldn't show cleavage, you couldn't show your shoulder, you couldn't show your knee, there were so many rigid rules that you had to go by. And the guards were sometimes really, really rough on certain races, and mine was the race they were rough on. And so if you had on something that they didn't like, or they thought it was, they told me one time, you look too pretty, so go change. Because I'm like, I have sleeves, I'm not showing anything, it's past my knees. Why are you making me? Because it's too pretty. And I went, oh, okay, okay. But I made friends with the guards. I started asking them about their day. I didn't take them as a threat. So what happened one day is I was really, really tired of prison clothes and wearing their clothes. So I asked Spirit one day, I said, what can I wear tomorrow that I haven't ever worn? I'm sick of these clothes. And I heard, you know the dress that you brought in France years ago? Yeah, put that dress on. What I didn't realize, Sifu, until I'm kind of getting in the car, is that the sleeves were kind of see-through. They were brown, and you're not supposed to show your shoulder. So the dress was fine. I had this covered. The sleeve was a see-through brown, but it had big purple velvet flowers on it. And I'm worrying on the way to the prison. I'm not taking a change of clothes, and I'm 40 minutes away. And the whole process of getting into a prison, you would not believe how hectic it is, how rough it is, how stressful it is. And I am on my way, and I am in this fight. Are you going to turn around and go get some extra clothes? Are you going to trust yourself? Are you going to trust us? We told you to put the dress on. So I'm pretty close to the prison by now, and I think I've overcome it. I think I've made the decision, but I haven't. And so I am singing, I am a conqueror. I'm believing I have overcome this fear. And I hear, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean am I doing? Are you not seeing me in my car? And I'm singing, I'm a conqueror. What were you thinking, Tammy? You know what I was thinking? And I didn't even know. Well, that's okay if I have to go back and change. That's a 40-minute ride. I'll go back. I'll get it. I was justifying. I was making it easier to accept that.
Right.
And when Spirit said, what were you thinking? I said, oh my God, I was planning on it. I was actually planning on it and trying to soothe myself. It's okay if it happens. While I'm singing, I'm a conqueror. So, right as I turned into the prison thing, and it was the biggest prison complex in the United States with 4 different prisons in it. And we couldn't even go in front of the prison for a while. We had to take numbers, and we're sitting in a parking lot, and it's dark. It's 6 a.m. And I heard, are you really going to do this to yourself? I said, wait, you're telling me that I get to choose whether or not they bust me or not. Are you going to do this to yourself? And I went, oh, I see what you're saying. I didn't choose. I didn't make a decision. So I said, I'm not going to get stopped. Guess what happened? This is the wildest thing. Because with the rigidity and everything that you go through to get into the prison system, there was a lady behind me that had on a white shirt, and it was not see-through. It was completely solid. You could not see one thing. And I take this jacket off, and I have clear sleeves, except for purple flowers sporadically. They told me to take my jacket off, and I thought, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. I made that decision. I get through. The woman in a white blouse that is not see-through at all, it was thicker than paper. They said, your blouse is see-through. And I turned around and looked at her, and she pointed to my sleeves and said, what? And I went, I decided. When you're in fear, you're going to get busted. And that story changed my life, that example. So whenever I have worried about money, or I don't do this anymore, and that's also in that book, How I Overcame Homelessness. In that book, there was a week that I said, I'm sick of feeling or being afraid that I'm going to be homeless, or I'm going to lose everything again, or I'm not going to make payments. I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm sick of this. I want to overcome it. I decided I wanted to overcome it. I've never been that close again since then. And it was the same thing at the end. I was asked, "Do you want to become homeless?" And I went, "No,
Mm, not at all.
then you don't have to." So the work is taking your thought in every minute and measuring it. That's when you pull out your measuring stick, not whether or not you're enough. That measuring stick, throw away. But what is the feeling of this thought? Does it feel good? Does it feel loved? Does it feel easy?
Mm.
Does it feel positive? If it is, go with that. If it doesn't, forgive yourself or laugh and say, "I changed my mind."
It's so interesting when we have the positive thinking, or at least we think we have the positive thinking, and there's doubt along the way.
Yeah. Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that, because that exemplifies what so many people do on a regular basis. So one of the things that we've mentioned today is negativity. It's around us. It's everywhere. It's it's in movies. It's in commercials. It's in all these different things. It's on billboards. The thing is, do you allow it to enter you? I don't. I I look at things. I could get mad if somebody cuts me off in traffic. I'm like, have a good day. Go, go. You want to get in front of me? Do it. It's fine. I'm still going to get to where I need to go. Even if I'm in a hurry, I'm going to get there, but I want to get there safely. So if you are more important than I am, by all means, take it. You, you're welcome. Um, so a lot of times I will hold the door open for somebody and they walk in as if they're royalty and never say thank you. So I will always say, you're welcome. And so that maybe they can say, wow, I should have said thank you. But it's when we start to resonate and it comes out of our pores of positivity. I think that's one of the greatest things that we can do. One of the things that I'm doing, and I know you're doing a lot of things, and you're taking people to Egypt, and later on you're going to Nepal, but next year you're taking people because you like to share great experiences with people. I
Yes.
have an event. I have two events coming up. One of them, I'm going to share a commercial with everybody. It's happening very soon. It's happening August 21st. Is it okay if I share it?
Yes, I would love to see it.
And I put this together, by the way. Take a look.
The next level is waiting. Will you climb? We climb. Together. We grow. Together. We lead. Together. 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 Yeah, this is unified leadership. Purpose, character, conviction, wisdom, connection, impact. Together we become more. Bring your vision. Bring your fire. One community. One heartbeat. One mission. Keep climbing. Keep growing. Unified Leadership Academy. Unified Leadership Academy. Unified Leadership Academy. Stronger together.
One community, one future.
Join us
On school soul.
where leaders connect, where true leaders grow, where leadership never stands still.
Keep climbing, climb higher, higher.
I was dancing.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting when we're building this community on school, and it's all about leadership, right? We are putting together 3 years of lessons,
Mhm.
3 years. And if you ever wanted to learn about the different levels of leadership, because there's so many different levels of it, and get well versed in leadership, whether you're starting out or you've been in it for quite some time, we have a spot for everyone who loves what leadership does for other people. So leadership, we've been talking about it today, is you can't love someone if you're not loving yourself, and that's leadership right there. If I want to leave my house today, and I'm going to say it this way, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I'm going to treat everybody badly. So I tell everybody, don't go to sleep on the wrong side, and you won't wake up on the wrong side. So it's how we do everything on a daily basis. When we go to sleep, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking about the negativity in our day? Or can we start to say, maybe I had a rough day today. Tomorrow should be better. How can I make it better? Well, let me have some positive thoughts. And what I do every day is I start with gratitude and I end with gratitude. I'm grateful for what I've had. I'm grateful for my connections, the people, everything that has helped me and guided me. Good morning, Karen. Along the way, we have choices. And so if we start in gratitude and we end in gratitude, and even in the middle of the day, I'm grateful for things. I am, if I get to my destination safe and sound, I don't take it for granted. I'm like, thank you that I got here safely. When I have a client in front of me, I'm grateful for them, even if they're not being a great client at the moment. Because we all have had clients who maybe need to be around us just a little bit longer to be able to understand that their behavior doesn't just impact us, but it actually impacts them. So every day we have a chance to negotiate how we live in this beautiful world. Listen, you woke up this morning, you should be grateful. You're alive, you're breathing, you're moving. You can see, you can hear, you can speak, you can feel, you can taste. Don't throw it away. That's a gift. You are a gift. Tammy, you're a gift.
So are
You're a
you.
beautiful gift. And if we can expand on the gift that we've been given, we can share that gift with others. So the other thing, when I pray in the morning and even at night, I ask God to allow me to share the gifts He's given me with others. And that is how I live my day. So negativity, listen, you can come and scream and be mad at me and everything, and I'm just going to look at you like, okay. I know it's not at me, because if you know me, and if I did something wrong, I will admit it, because I don't gain anything by trying to hide what I did. If I did something wrong, I don't gain anything by lying about it and trying to hide if I made a mistake. I own my mistakes and I move on from them. So I encourage people to move on from their mistakes as well. And say, you know what? I am human. I made a mistake. What did I learn from it? Every day we have a choice. And you talked about choices, right?
Well, I was just thinking about the theme of what today is climbing.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Karen. Nice to see you. Climbing Mount Sinai last year by myself. They call it Moses Mountain. They don't
Yeah.
call it Mount Sinai. To them, it's much more intimate. Climbing that mountain with a guide, starting at 12:30 in the morning, and him telling me, "You're late." And I said, "I'm late?" He said, "Yes, there are 165 people in front of you, and they started an hour to an hour and a half ago." I said,
Mm.
"This is what time they got me here. I don't know what time I'm supposed to be here." And then ended up being the first one to summit.
Mm.
And the guide was looking at me because at the last, I wouldn't even stop to rest. I would just lean against a rock, close my eyes, recalibrate my mind, think about where I was going, and tell the body, you're rested. And then I would look at him and go, what are you doing? He said, I've never seen this before. And I didn't know at that point that I'd passed everybody. It was during this conversation that he revealed that. And he said, I've never seen anybody act like this before. I've never seen him do this before. What are you doing? I said, I'm changing my mind. Instead of concentrating on the fatigue, I'm concentrating on where I'm going. And he said, well, you've done well. And I said, thank you. He said, no, you've done well. We're at the 750 steps, which is straight up 750 steps. He said, you're first. You passed 165 people that started an hour to an hour and a half before you. I said, well, here's the thing. I never once thought about those people. I had no idea that I had passed all of them. Only you would know that. I wouldn't know. Certainly wasn't counting. I was in my space. I said, but now that I know, let me tell you something. I'm competitive. So if anybody comes near us, we have to run. He said, nobody is within 40 minutes of you. I did make it to the top first. I want our audience to realize I turned 66 last year. I'm turning 67 while I'm on that mountain, while I'm on the trail this year.
Wow.
If
Congratulations.
I can do it, you can do it. Let's climb.
Let's do it. Let's climb, right?
We can do this.
Climb to new heights. You got to climb to new heights.
Yes.
How do we climb to new heights if we don't take the first step?
Or believe we can.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It's that first step, right, to climb. And then it's not just the first step, it's the second step, the third step, the 100th step, the 1,000th step. For anybody even looking to run a marathon and they've never run a marathon, you're going to be in pain. But what if you start training? What if you start saying, I'm going to start by walking a couple of blocks every day. And eventually I'm going to start with a little trot. And then eventually I'm going to jog a little bit. And I'm going to run for 2 blocks or 1 block, half a block. And it's about taking that first step that gets you there. But if you don't wake up every morning with the determination, you'll never be able to run a marathon. Now, when I was a kid, I ran 12 miles cold. And I'm going to tell you why I ran 12 miles cold. Because my brother came back from boot camp. My brother's 4 years older than me. He wakes me up and shakes me and says, get up. I'm like, what? He goes, let's go. I didn't know I was going for a 12-mile run. And I did it. And he woke me up the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And we ran around this beautiful, beautiful lake at 4 in the morning. So it was pitch black. There was some little lights, and so we ran. On the 8th day, I'm waking him up. And so I ran every day since that day
Wow.
until probably my 30s, every day. And I would run for 2 hours every single
Oh, good
day.
God.
Now, I'm not talking about jogging. It wasn't jogging. It was full out run, as if I was running from the cops. It was like take off. I never ran a marathon. I didn't have to. I didn't have to prove to people that I can do it. I knew I could. Now, today, I've had 3 knee surgeries, none of them from running. It started from a car accident that somebody hit me. And even now, when I went to a doctor, just because my knees had swollen, he's like, "How are you walking?" I said, "What do you mean? I'm walking fine." He goes, "No, we took x-rays of both your knees. You have no cartilage.
Hmm.
How are you walking? Most people wouldn't even be able to walk down the hallway." I said, "I jump rope every day. I do this, I do that, I do martial arts." And he's like, "I don't understand." I said, "Well, it's this determination. It's also the fact that I built the muscles around my knees." So thinking about determination, it's a little bit stronger than motivation, I would say. Just the same way you climbed that mountain and you beat 165 people, it was determination. You could be motivated, say, "I'm going to do it," and go, "Oh, I'm too tired. I'm just going to sit here for a half hour and wait with everybody else." And you said, "No, I'm not just motivated. I am determined." And when somebody's determined, they are unstoppable. Tammy
Yes.
De Mirza, Dr. Tammy De Mirza, is unstoppable because your determination is yours. Nobody can take that away from you.
And everybody else can make up their mind to do that too. I'm sorry, but I am going to have to run. We are way past the hour.
Way past. You guys, thank you so much for being with us today and sticking it around. I saw a lot of people here coming in and even saying good morning and so forth. And I saw Michael Woods was with us. And I saw a bunch of other people with us. Casper, right? Stockholm, and Gabby, thank you. I know she had a run. She says she's going to listen to it again. So everybody have yourself a blessed and beautiful day. And you are worthy and you are loved. Remember, don't expect love from others if you can't love yourself. Have a blessed day, everybody.